Hello everybody, welcome back to Stage 2 here at GameSpot's E3 coverage. I'm Cam, and it is the final day, Day 3. We've seen so many games on Stage 2 and on Stage 1, and we're now at something which is particularly exciting for me. So we have a game called Take on Mars, which actually constantly gets the song Take on Me in my head. I don't know if that happens to the lead developer as well, we'll find out in a minute. But Take on Mars is a science-based game, and if anyone who knows me knows that I love some science. So let's get straight to the game, and let me introduce you to Martin. Martin, how you doing? From Bohemia Interactive.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you too. Make sure you keep the mic nice and close up.
Of course.
Perfect. Okay, so tell us a little bit about Take on Mars. What is it?
Well, Take on Mars is an exploration simulator.
Okay.
So essentially, we try to simulate rovers as close to reality as possible, while keeping it accessible for the player. So we're not worried about the one-way light time delay, for example. And the rovers do drive a little faster than they should. But you know, it is a game after all, so that's how we take it.
Okay, excellent. Well, we're going to be taking a look at the game. We've got a live gameplay demo to show you in just a minute. But if I can just ask you first, what made you think, all right, we're good at simulations. We've done Arma. We've got Arma 3 coming out, but we also want to try simulating something completely different. What made you think, right, let's take a look at doing a Martian rover?
Well, around the time when Curiosity landed, I thought, you know what, I'm going to try to make a little mod for Carrier Command, one of our previous games.
Okay.
I thought, you know what, let's just try and make a little rover on Mars, you know, just to help the modability of Carrier Command.
So did it start off as just kind of a little personal project for you? That's really
definitely
cool.
And so once it kind of like was at some sort of prototype stage, you know, the CEO looked at it and he's like, you know what, let's just make a game out of it. So we're like, yeah, let's make it.
Perfect.
And so that's where it started essentially. And so from there we said, you know what, let's add 3 rovers and 2 landers. You know, make it a little bit more gameplay-wise, like more interesting. So you get to choose, like, you know, to use a small rover or a large rover, and they are based kind of more or less on real rovers. So.
Excellent. All right. Well, I think we'll take a look in just a second and actually have a go of the game and show the guys at home a live demo. The idea to give the experience of like sitting at NASA and just be controlling the rover from there, or is it? Okay, so yeah, it's meant to be someone controlling from Earth.
It is, yeah. And that's really reinforced by the fact you actually start off in the control room in space program.
Oh, right. Okay.
So there you're just sitting there. You know, you can see the monitors in front of you, and you know, you control everything from there. You do switch to the rovers, and it does go like theoretically full screen.
Right.
But the idea is that you are controlling it from the control room. So there is no person on Mars or near Mars. It's all from Earth. So.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, before we actually go to the game, let's take a look at the trailer for the game.
Yeah,
so let's have a look at that now. Tiny second. No, that's me. I'm not a trailer. There we go. All right, so you talk us through. This is what's called EDL, right?
Yes, this is all composed of in-game footage.
Yeah.
What you're seeing there is actually the heat shield falling off the front of the large rover. And it's got a descent cam looking down on the terrain below it. Now, all of our terrain is made from real satellite data, or is based on real satellite data.
Okay.
So that was actually Gale Crater, where Curiosity landed. But we've chosen a location slightly southeast of there. With the mountains, you know, it's a bit more visually appealing.
Yeah,
so you can
gorgeous.
see the large rover there. And you can so it should be interesting to show some of that as well.
So I see you've obviously taken a huge attention to detail to not just how you control on the surface, but actually how the craft land, or in that case crash. Because it is an incredibly interesting and difficult kind of aspect of getting to Mars, is the kind of landing. So it's cool to see that you're kind of showing that off too. I mean, do you get to control any of the landing, or is that just happens?
That is something we're working on.
Okay.
It would be ideal. It would be quite interesting to be able to just adjust how it lands on the ground. Because it could result in some interesting situations where thruster fails and you just kind of smashes the ground, and see what we saw in the trailer.
I mean, anyone who follows this kind of stuff knows that European Space Agency obviously had Beagle 2, which wasn't successful. I mean, as far as we know, it could actually be on the surface of Mars right now, just like with a broken antenna, just like ready to go, which is infuriating. But yeah, okay, that's great. So you're working on that stuff. But what you have actually got done already is the simulation actually on Mars. So hopefully
along with the EDL phase, as we saw there.
An EDL phase as well. Excellent. So hopefully we'll be able to throw to that in a second. But while we're waiting for that to come up, let's just talk a little bit more about the kind of challenge of making a game like this. Because I guess, right, I mean, we're here at E3, it's next gen, everything's like guns and flashing lights and everything looks beautiful. Not that your game doesn't, but how do you compete like how do you try and say, hey guys, we got a science game, you know, like, and how do you get people other than just myself?
Well, you know, with the success of a Kerbal Space Program, you know, that was, I think, one you know, factor that pushed us. You know, let's try it. You know, it is an experimental game. You know, and it is really nice that we can do such experimental titles. At least try it out, see how it is on the market. So, because it is a small project, it's not that much of a risk.
Yeah.
But it is definitely something that we like to do. You know, it is nice, a change for me at least. To do, you know, to do a little change from, you know, shooting and explosions and especially with carrier command with a volcano explosion, which is quite interesting. But that put aside, obviously, you know, it is nice to try something different. So and we are hoping that, you know, players catch on and say, you know, this is interesting for us as well. We'd like to see more of it. So we do have some plans. Nothing specific at the moment, but you know, we'll see how it turns out with this title.
Well, let's see how it turns out right now. Check out some of the gameplay. Here we go. Take on Mars.
This is actually where the simulation starts. You can see the Mars globe there.
Yeah.
So you can see that's a bit of an atlas. You can zoom in on it, zoom out. You can see down the bottom left, it says local Earth time. That's our time here at the moment. And right above it is Mars time. So it is. It does calculate in reality like what we would see Mars as right now. So even the globe itself is oriented towards the sun realistically. So if we were standing in front of Mars, this is what we would see.
Wow, so you've attention to detail
Definitely.
in terms of the science is already there. That's really nice. That's the type of stuff that, you know, that I think really makes a huge difference when you're trying to do a simulation like this. So we've got Gale Crater and Victoria Crater there.
Yes, if we just start the scenario there on Victoria Crater, we have two presentation scenarios to show here.
Okay.
One is Victoria Crater. It's just a small little situation on Mars, on specifically Victoria Crater. Yeah, there we can see the HUD and everything.
Wow.
You can see in the top right the cameras. They are updated as we can see the mast cam moving around. And in the background there we can see another rover landing. We are very particular about our landings, and we do try to keep them as realistic as possible. So if we just switch to the other rover now, we'll be able to see it inside the landing capsule. We'll just jump into third person and have a look. We'll just zoom out a little, and we can see that it's tucked away nice inside.
Oh, inside the protective airbags.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is actually how Sojourner landed on Mars back in '95.
And it bounces, right?
Bouncing around on Mars. So,
bounces for quite a while, actually, because of course the gravity on Mars is less.
Exactly. It's 3.7 meters per second. So it's about a third of what we have here. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be rolling for a while.
Yeah.
So it is, as I said, it's all physically simulated, so there's nothing we can really do about that.
Yeah, it's just the physics taking over.
Off it goes. So we'll just switch back to the other rover.
Oh, it's almost done. It's coming to a rest. Oh, no, it's not. It's still going.
Yeah, it's going to continue for a little while, probably.
Okay.
So we just look around here, back at the rover from third person. Third person obviously is not very hardcore. Yeah, but we're not worried about that. We're just like, you know, let the player do whatever he wants.
Yeah, because it looks nice in third person. I mean, I think if it wasn't there, you'd miss it, right? You want to see your rover in detail, how it works.
Exactly.
And this is modeled on Curiosity, right?
No, this one's modeled on Opportunity, actually.
Oh, right, sorry, Opportunity.
You can actually see the physics simulation is extremely accurate. We have this rover is comprised of about 100 parts, individual physicalized parts. We use the Bullet physics engine. So you can see, as my colleague is driving over the individual rocks there, you can see the rocker bogie suspension system react to it realistically.
Awesome.
And this is exactly the same system as NASA uses, or not exactly, but very similar. So if we just switch back to the other rover, perhaps it's deflated now. Let's have a look.
So you've got
excellent. So we can see it's just unfolding now.
Yeah.
So what happens? It landed. It's deflated the balloons, sucked them back in.
Yeah.
And now we can see the rover on the side there. So,
wow, yeah. So, well, you get an idea of scale now. Jesus, those things are like, that's huge. That landing capsule is massive.
Actually, this one's relatively small. This rover
really?
right here is actually much smaller than the previous one.
Oh, I see. Right, okay.
And so it's about half a meter across.
Okay.
So you can see we're driving off the edge there. And again, you can see the suspension system working. And again, the suspension system is done in such a way because springs don't work well on Mars. The gravity's too low. So we can see inside view here, or from the camera that we got at the front of the rover.
That's awesome. I love the tracks in the dirt. Yeah. That's great. That's a really nice touch.
You can break off cameras, break off individual instruments, everything. It's all simulated, like I said. So we'll just jump out into free fly and just break off the wheel here. Actually, let's try to break off the solar panel instead.
Well, because the wheel, it wasn't its Spirit or Opportunity. Famously, its wheel got busted, and as it was trying to drive around, and then actually that was quite useful in the end because as they were driving, the dead wheel would kind of churn up the soil behind them, and they could go back around and analyze that. So it's almost like they had a little digging implement. But yeah, so you can do this to your rovers as well.
Yeah, so it presents interesting opportunities. Like if we just jump back inside the rover, it presents some interesting opportunities. You know, where if you drive around too too wildly with the rover, you might damage the wheel. And it starts to malfunction. That means it starts jamming. So you can get into a similar situation like Spirit, where after extensive use, the wheels jam and you're like, uh-oh, well, I can't drive forward. So what did NASA do? Well, I drive backwards. So so that's what can be done.
All right, so let's do some science. We're here in Mars to do science.
So let's switch back to the previous rover. Just to the previous rover. Just jump into the control. And from here, we'll just drive to the waypoint that we have here.
Okay.
The little blue thing on the right. Let's just turn to it.
I've got to say, I love this in-rover camera with all the HUD up there. It's really cool.
Yeah, we simulate all the cameras like realistically. So there are, the one we're in right now is a telefocus camera. So if we just switch to the to camera number 1, which is the Nav Cam, that's used for navigation. It's got a wider angle. It makes it easier to drive with, as you can see now. So we're just driving towards the waypoint there, and that's just an explore waypoint. It means just drive here and assess what to do further.
Okay.
So we'll just do that. And
I mean, is this about the same speed that the rovers move? Because I know they move very, very slowly on the surface of Mars.
Yeah, we're moving 3 times as fast.
Yeah, I thought that would be.
We make it a little bit more accessible. Obviously, if they drove like realistic speeds, it would be a bit slow gameplay.
Doesn't it take like a couple of days to even travel like 10 meters? It takes like a few days. So that wouldn't be quite as fun. So I think that's definitely a good gameplay decision there.
So like I said, we are trying to make it accessible for players while at the same time keeping the science. So we can see we just completed a science target, and we can see we got a photo target in the background. So if we just jump into the photo mode using the radial menu, from here you can access instruments and photos. So you'll notice over here there's about 5 points, little pluses. Those you need to have a line of sight to those to be able to take a photo of them. So and in this situation specifically, we need to use a color camera. So we'll just switch to the telefocus camera. And you see, you need to actually frame the individual parts. So you can see here, that photo right now would be unsuccessful because it's just, it's not framed. So if we just move it over to the left a little bit, and now we can take a photo of it and complete the science target. So here we go, and it should complete the science target. So that's how you do take photos on Mars.
Science complete, great. Yeah, love it. Science is easy.
So we got another panorama in the background, but we'll switch to the other scenario. So we'll just jump back to the main menu. And just switch to the Gale Crater one. I'd like to show you a little bit of the Edl sequence.
Let's do it. So that stands for entry, descent, landing, right?
Exactly.
Yes. I remembered.
So the only part we do not do is we'll have to turn time a little bit, just so it's daylight, because right now it's actually night on Gale Crater. So the heat shield just fell off there. There we go. So we just have to use cheats. Like I said, it uses real Martian time. So right now it is actually nighttime on Gale Crater, hence why we saw the night. So So here we are. We're landing. If we jump into third person, we can see the rover there attached to the sky crane. So just jump back inside. And like I said, we are physically simulating everything. So this rover
is how
itself,
Curiosity landed, isn't it?
Exactly. This rover itself has about 150 individual parts. So it is quite an extensive physics simulation in that regard.
So what's slowing it down now? Is that retro rockets?
It's the retro thrusters.
So is it already deployed? Did this one have a parachute or not?
It does have a parachute. It actually deploys this parachute prior to. It actually drops off the parachute prior to deploying the heat shield. Deploys the heat shield, then it releases the parachute, and then it just goes down on the retro rockets. So you can see it just planted on the ground now. So jump back inside it.
And that just zooms off somewhere else.
Yeah, it actually it turns off about 30 degrees, thrusts for about 3 seconds, and then cuts all power. So then it just falls.
Make sure it doesn't land on the rover.
Yeah, exactly.
And there it is.
So we can see this lander here in front of us. That's actually Mars 3, an old Russian lander that they sent there. It didn't really land there. We're just putting it here just for the presentation.
So have you? Have you put Beagle somewhere on Mars then?
I didn't want to say, but yes, we have.
Yeah, you put Beagle to some brilliant. That's
because,
great.
Because there's the whole metric imperial system.
Okay.
Boggle. So yes, we have put it there. I don't want to reveal where, obviously.
That's good.
But yes, it is there. So it should be interesting for players to see it. If we just jump outside view here. we can see it overcoming the dune here with the suspension system. Where for a smaller rover, this would be a real problem. While this rover is gigantic. It's the size of a car.
Yeah.
So it can easily drive over the dune here without a problem. So
wonderful.
So we'll just head over to the analyze target over there.
Yeah, it'd be good. So it'd be good to do some zapping rocks with lasers, right?
Exactly,
that's what we need to do.
That's exactly what we're about to do. So we're just heading over there. And so we also have a like I said, because it's real time. It uses real time. We can you can see down the bottom right the power levels. So it is generating power from the battery at the back, the thermal generator. So it's the thermal generator is a really powerful generator. So so it is generating a high level of power, and it's just not having a problem running out. So we'll just switch to the cam here. So it's still So we can see the rock here. We're just about to analyze. So we'll just switch to the instrument mode. There we are. And here we can see if we jump outside view just for a second, we can see the little indication at the left showing you what you're meant to analyze and with what. So if we just jump back inside and tell it to analyze, and just now quickly jump back outside and show the laser from outside. Yeah, there we go. You can see it pulsing the rock, evaporating the top layers, and analyzing the plasma that gets thrown out from it.
Brilliant.
So now it's just analyzing the results. So we'll just move closer to the rock and extend the robotic arm, because obviously that's something that's part of the gameplay as well. So a little bit closer we'll move. And now we'll just extend the robotic arm. So we can see that happening in the front of the rover there.
Yep, and in the camera as well. And
yeah. So so like I said, we have simplified the robotic arm somewhat. It does have 5 individual joints. So to make it a little easier to control, the player controls like the yaw and the extension. So that's what we're seeing here. So we're going to probably have to drive a little bit further forward just to reach the target over to the left there. A little bit more. And there we go. So now we should switch probably to the drill, because that's what we need to use for the equipment. Just the instrument there. So let's select the drill, and there we go. And now we'll just extend the arm right down to the rock. So to help us guide the arm, we'll just switch over to the zoom camera down the bottom right, and we'll just go inside view so we can see what it sees. And we'll just rotate the head. Right now we're rotating the arm, so we'll just switch to the head of the robotic arm.
Yeah.
There we are. And now we can rotate it, look at the rock in front of us, and help us guide the arm right down to the surface of the rock. So let's do that. So here we go. Approaching it.
Drill inbound. Come on, drill. You can get there.
Yeah. So probably a good idea to switch to the Nav Cam at the top right now, because it's got a nice clear view of it.
Get some context of it.
And from here, we'll just turn to the drill. So just rotate the head a bit to the right. Just aim our drill down to the rock. And from there, we would just put it down to the surface of the rock and tell it to drill, and it would start drilling, get its sample, analyze it, and give us the results.
Awesome. Now, when you say give us the results, are we going to get it's just going to say mission complete, or do you actually simulate the type of result?
We will display real results, realistic results based on real findings from Curiosity.
Yeah.
Like I said, we are very inspired by those missions. It will eventually, right now we don't have it in this build, but in the release build there will be. It will say that it's composed of silicon, oxygen, etc.
Yeah. So, oh wow, that's amazing.
So what we'll do now, we'll just jump into the free fly camera, which is one thing which not many games do. They don't allow you to just jump into a free fly camera and fly around. Now we've allowed that. It won't let you go through the terrain. It won't let you go through objects. Let's just try and go through the terrain here. Just to illustrate what I mean. And the reason we allow for this camera is because it has a zoom. It has, it allows you to view the terrain from afar.
Yeah.
So we'll just go high up into the air, and there we can see the spectacular, mountain tops of Gale Crater. So it's, with this camera, we thought, let's just allow the player to just fly around and do whatever he likes.
Is this all modeled off all the topographical data that we've got of Mars? So this is 100% accurate.
Well, I would say 99.
99%. Okay, right. 99% accurate. That's incredible.
Yeah, but it is. We have tried to get as close to reality as possible.
So how long has this taken you? Because the amount of detail here seems really. Well,
as I said before, we actually started developing this game shortly after the landing of Curiosity, which was last August.
Yeah.
So Yeah, so it has been in development for almost 9 months.
Tell us about the engine you're using here, because you mentioned to me earlier this is not the same engine that Arma.
Yeah, this is the N-Force engine. It's the engine we used for carry command. So it is a very different engine to Arma, designed for different purposes. So it is an extremely moddable engine at this point. So players can add their own vehicles, add their own locations. You can see the sun heading down.
There it goes.
Yeah, so we even simulate the dark of night.
Oh, can we go back to nighttime and spot Earth? Do you know where that is? Or is that
yeah,
it's a tough ask.
That's a very tough ask. Yeah, because to be honest, I just straight from this I wouldn't be able to determine it.
But it's about you mapped. But is the night sky correct for what it would be?
It is. It is correct. We are tweaking it somewhat, but the stars we see are real. So it is actually a realistic catalog. So if we just head back to nighttime, just to show you one interesting gameplay aspect. As you can see, it's absolutely dark. So how do you help the player move around at night? Well, we've got night vision, so we turn that on.
Of course, night vision.
Yeah, there we go. So we got night vision. It makes it a little easier. It will drain power. At the moment it doesn't, but it will be draining power somewhat.
Okay.
And each individual. Oh, there we go. We just broke off an instrument.
Oh no! What have you done?
At least it shows the destruction system. If we just switch over to Nav Cam.
Is there a rewind? Can you go rewind?
No. So once you break something,
there's
nothing you can do
about
it. So
just like real life.
Switch over to the mast cam, mast system.
Yeah.
Down the bottom to help us, you just turn the camera. Just drive back a little bit, and if we just press L to turn on the light of the camera, we can see here. We'll just switch off the night vision just to illustrate the camera even better. We can see this is actually black and white camera, and you can see it casting shadows, turning as you turn. So we have got, lights on each individual camera. So if we just switch over to the wide angle camera, we'll be able to see the colors of, the rocks on Mars when it's not daylight. So just to compare it, if we just switch over to day now, just to, rotate, I guess the sun. Yeah, nice. You can see that it's, suddenly everything's orange. So that's due to the diffraction in the atmosphere. So we are trying to keep the details as close to as possible.
This seems to me like as much as being incredibly a fun game to play, it also seems like a science teacher's dream as well. All right, what I'd love to do now is move over to the chat, because we've got a lot of people in the chat commenting on the game. And so if you've got any questions for Martin, please put them in the chat right now. Or you can, or probably the other easiest way is to use Twitter. Now, currently I'm logged in here as Danny, so if you tweet at Danny O'Dwyer, that'd be great if you have any questions for Martin, and we'll throw them at him. But let's have a look now. We've got a couple of comments. Someone said, when you broke the drill, said, good job, 100 billion down the drain. So that's nice, yeah. Yeah, what else have we got? Oh yeah, someone's saying that you can download a free demo, is that correct?
No, there will be no demo. The game will be for €10, which is around $15 American.
Okay.
So it is a relatively cheap game. It will come with 3 locations, Kaiser Crater, Gale Crater, what we can see here, and Victoria Crater, what we saw earlier.
Okay. And how big are these areas that you can...
They're 4x4 kilometers.
4x4, okay.
So for a rover, that's more than enough.
Absolutely.
It is due to the time constraints. Of course, we will actually be releasing a free DLC later on. That will be on Deimos, which is a moon of Mars. Okay. So it'll be interesting to have a completely different environment, an asteroid.
Very good.
So I guess we'll see. The release date for that is not. We're going to have absolutely certain at this point.
But the release date for the full game is
the end of July.
End of July.
Basically the third quarter of this year. So.
Okay. Wonderful.
So it's coming up quite fast.
Yeah. Well, let's try and get a few more questions here. Oh yeah, now you were talking about mods. Someone's saying be good to make a horror mod with this game. I don't know quite how that would work.
Especially at the night
Aliens
time.
on Mars. Yeah, I mean, the night effects are really quite impressive, especially with that torch and the light of Mars. So obviously, there's no light pollution from anywhere, right? Yeah. So yeah. That's quite fantastic.
Well, to make a horror mod, well, theoretically you could, because we're really pushing for the modability with this game.
Yeah.
If we just jump out of the rover, we'll just stay in here. If we just jump out and actually we will have to go to the editor. Sorry. So we'll just have to jump back to the main menu.
Okay. And while we do this, I've got a couple of questions, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
So someone's asked. Mr. Clorox on Twitter is asking, is there weather or sandstorms on Mars? Weather or storms on Mars?
Well, essentially the weather would be only the sandstorms, because there's nothing much else that happens apart from high winds. Yes, we do plan on adding that. Though the question is, if we'll make it for release, I hope so.
Yeah. Okay.
But it is, we do have to finish off certain things in the game. prior to release, which do take priority over the weather. Because the sandstorms do occur in one season throughout the Martian year. The Martian year is longer than the Earth year. It's about 2 times, roughly. So, you know, and especially with regards to sandstorms, it would be extremely interesting, you know, to do that, because you know, the sandstorms can be so severe that you see only, you know, a couple of meters ahead. So that should be interesting to simulate.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely, that'd be really interesting.
So here we can see the editor, which is which allows for the modability, and we can see how we're moving around the vehicles on the surface there. And the most important thing is, like I said, with the modability. You can create your own vehicles, your own locations. We will be providing the tool set for that, and tutorial videos to show people how that can be done.
Excellent.
And now, with this editor, we can see how we're moving around the objects here. If we just press spacebar to hide the editor, we can see everything goes into action. So if we press spacebar again, it just pauses everything.
Pauses time, yeah. That's excellent.
So it's an in-game editor, allows you to make missions and debug them at the same time. So that's really useful for us, as well as anyone making a mission. Now, the thing is, as I said about the modability, everything is changeable. So even the HUD of the vehicles, even the waypoints, even the way the vehicle handles, moves, everything can be changed through little script modules.
Excellent.
So, so theoretically, there's nothing stopping anyone from making a, you know, I don't know, Martian aliens or anything like that. But if we just put a vehicle here with a machine gun down Racer NG, this will be just slightly up.
I'm pretty sure NASA didn't send this with a heavy cal or an MG
no,
to...
this is simply to illustrate what can be done with the modability. So if we just raise it off the train just slightly so it doesn't fall. So it just doesn't fall all down. And if we switch to the turret,
oh wow,
aptly named turrets.
Very good.
So we'll just jump into it and switch to the. So we switch to the rover now. We'll just move close to that, and there we go. So let's switch to the turret and move around in it. Switch the secondary system there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the primary system. So we can see it's got a machine gun. So if we turn it at the rover, I'm hoping this will never ever happen on Mars. But just to illustrate the damage system.
No, don't do it! What are you doing? That's so much money.
Very, very nasty to it at this point. But this is just to illustrate what can be done with the modability here.
That hurt me. That actually physically hurt me to see that happen.
So let's turn away from that and pretend it never happened. So.
Wow. Well, this is fantastic. So your plan is to get people to get on. Where will these mods be available? Just on your website, or are you going to try and get into the Nexus?
We're hoping to implement Steam Workshop.
Oh, Steam Workshop, wonderful.
So that would be ideal. We are evaluating that at the moment. So there's nothing, I can't say anything specific about that at this point. We'll see how it turns out. Ideally it would be in it, because that's the most ideal platform for sharing mods, you know, so I would really love that to be in it.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you very much, Martin. I think that's a great time to end it. It's been a pleasure meeting you and seeing this game. I can tell you for one, I will definitely be playing this. It satisfies my scientific curiosity and also looks like a hell of a lot of fun. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And everyone else, hope you'll be back in 5 minutes with a look at Prime World. So stay with us and we'll see you soon.